Blog Talk Radio.
What time is it?
WH Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of WrestlingHeads Radio. This is the third episode this week. We have been having a lot of Championship Wrestling Hollywood stars on here. And now today, we have Championship Wrestling Hollywood's booker on the show, Mr. Angelo Trinidad. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on. It's been a while. I know we've been talking about you've been on the show. Also, for you guys that's not familiar with him, he's also the ring announcer for PWG. So if you watch PWG DVDs, you got to know who this guy is. So, yeah, man. So we got Championship Wrestling Hollywood this Sunday on Father's Day. Big event, man. Talk to us about it. Like, how'd you guys get this plan to get all these guys on this card? Like, the card stacked. We got AJ Styles. You got Trent Beretta. You got Matt Hardy, Coco Cabana, Joey Ryan. And you got Peter Avalon. The list goes on and on. Willie Mack. I mean, shit.
Yeah, the Red Carpet Rumble. This is the second annual Red Carpet Rumble. We had our first one last year in May, and you called me out as the booker of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, but I am part of a really great writing team, and I have some great writing partners out there. So what we wanted to create was our premier event of the year. So this has been something that's been in the works since the inception of the television program, and we came up with the idea of the Red Carpet Rumble. And it came to fruition last May when we had our first one, and it went really well. It was held in Anaheim at the Business Expo Center. Sean Ricker won the inaugural Red Carpet Rumble, became the first ever Hollywood Heritage Champion, and that same night lost the title in a Loser Leaves Town match to Scorpio Sky. So in the matter of an instant, he went from the highest highs to the lowest of lows, and the crowd was hot all night long. So we knew walking away from that event that we had to make 2014's version of the Red Carpet Rumble even bigger. And it just happened to come about that we wanted to make it extra special and bring in some additional talent aside from our great cast and crew on our television program to provide the wrestling fans with a unique, one-of-a-kind show.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm going to go ahead and pass the question on to Oscar. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah. My first question I want to ask you, just right now you said you were part of the creative team, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. If I'm not mistaken, just now, right?
Excuse me?
You're part of the creative, or the storyline championship? Is that what you're saying right now, right?
Yeah, you're fine. I'm sorry, man. Your phone's cutting out, so you're breaking up.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I am a part of creative team. So yeah, we talk about the storylines and the direction of the program and everything like that.
How long were you meeting at this time?
Well, the Red Carpet Rumble match itself will be episode 170, and I came on board the creative team because I was formerly strictly the ring announcer for the program, but I came on board on the creative team around episode 68-ish, I want to say, somewhere between 68 and 70. So I've helped write at least 100 first-run episodes of our program.
All right, cool. So that means I'm sure you want to involve the whole verse, because right now I like the Vermin thing. I tell you right now, I think the Vermin is probably one of the best groups in professional wrestling today. I mean, me top three. Like, Wyatt family. TNA got what's that group called, the Menage? Then you got Ring of Honor with the Decade. This group here, I say, is in the top three. I don't want to be in order, but I think them, Wyatt family, and the Bullet Club, the top three groups in ring today. So I'm pretty sure you're going to job on that.
Oh man, well, I definitely appreciate the recognition and the notoriety of that. To have the Vermin being listed up there with the likes of the Wyatts and the Bullet Club, who are absolutely phenomenal at what they do in their respective companies, it's a huge compliment not only to the company itself, but to those guys, man. You're talking about 5 guys that have been with the company from day one, that have a huge chip on their shoulder. And it's their ultimate goal to take over Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. But we'll see how everything unfolds. But I have a feeling if Joey Ryan, Peter Avalon, the Mikey O'Shea's of the world have anything to say about it, they're not gonna let them take over.
Yeah, on Monday when we had Tito on, I was telling about this group. Like, this group kind of reminds me of, the NWO back in the day. When you had Hall Nash in the crowd, and you never know the next day they can just wreak havoc. It's kind of similar to that, where they're supposedly quote unquote no longer part of the Hollywood, but they'll hang with the crowd, the crowds in the ring.
Yeah, what's very hard about the creative process and factions like that is ensuring that it never becomes stale or repetitive. As you can see, I think that the WWE did a fantastic job in booking the Shield, and they had a really good year-long plus run, and it's just now it just kind of came to an end, and then the stuff kind of unfolded that way. It's very difficult to do nowadays, especially when we're creating first-run television episodes each and every week on a national level. It's very, very challenging to create the story and enhance the characters without it being overkill, or without it taking over the program, or without losing its steam right away. So that's been the biggest challenge in booking with the faction, because the last really big faction we had on the program was the Standard, and at the time I wasn't part of the creative process, so I wasn't able to see a really good way on how to book the creative process for a faction. So it's definitely a learning
one
process.
of my favorite factions is the experience with Scorpio Sky. Definitely one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie, I miss Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, and
watching him on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. But he's on the bigger.
They had a really great run too. I mean, the experience that was probably that was when we were at the peak of our stint at the Glendale Studios. And that story that Scorpio Sky and Willie Mack told, man, was just amazing and incredible. And, it took you to several different places and feeling several different types of emotions in the matches, from the first match that Willie lost, where he didn't achieve his goal, to the match where Willie had it in the bag and Sky somehow snuck one out with the superplex off the top rope. And then finally the culmination of it when Willie was able to capture the TV title in honor of his father who passed away. I mean, that was a great run. So the experience definitely had a great run. But all three of those guys are so easy to work with, so.
Yeah, definitely. Tom, you got a question?
Yeah. What's been the most difficult part about being a booker so far in your time at Championship Wrestling?
Probably, and I wouldn't really say nothing's really been difficult, but I'd also be lying if I said that nothing was difficult. It's probably two things. Number one, I've, over the years, as being a ring announcer and being a quote-unquote member of talent on the program, I've been able to build and forge a lot of relationships with the guys, and become very close friends with a lot of them. So once I stepped into a creative position, it's very hard to balance that work/personal relationship. And granted, no relationships have been ruined or friendships have been ruined because of that role or the position. But you have to play a very thin and fine line, and you have to kind of tiptoe about how you communicate yourself to the talent and the direction that you want to go with the program. And the second part of it is, aside from this, I still do have my full-time job, which I'm essentially working all day, Monday through Friday. So, in order to make everything work, I have to create that equal balance of working on the television stuff and working, on my real work stuff. So that's probably the biggest challenge I've had, is the time management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. My next question is, how did you get into the whole wrestling business? Like how did you get in contact with either Championship Wrestling Hollywood or PWG or any promotion? How did you get into the business?
I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. I grew up watching wrestling back when I was a kid, and I moved to Southern California in the summer of 2003. Growing up, I was a fan of WCW and WWE and ECW, but I had no idea that the independent scene even existed until I moved to Southern California. I grew up in Northern California, so at the time, the only independent promotion running frequently at the time was APW, but even APW was like an hour and a half to 2 hours away from where I lived. So once I moved down to Southern California, and there was a huge influx of these indie promotions like Revolution Pro, AWS, PWG, UPW was around, all these different promotions. And when I would go to WWE shows at the Pond or wherever they were at locally, there would always be people passing out flyers for these shows. So I ended up becoming a fan of TNA wrestling, and when I was at Frank & Sons, a friend of mine introduced me to Frank & Sons, so we went to go check out Frank & Sons and nerd it out and all that stuff. Someone was passing out flyers for a PWG show that was going to be there, and I saw it had AJ and Christopher Daniels and Chris Sabin. So we decided to check it out, and once we went, I was like, man, I was hooked back onto wrestling, and being able to see it live and up close in that intimate type of setting. So that's how I got into the independent wrestling, and through going to the PWG shows, I met John Ian, who was the ring announcer for PWG at the time. I also became friends with some of the other wrestlers, and that turned into me working on ring crew before and after the shows, and that was about 2006. And then that kind of opened the door to everything else.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I definitely enjoy what you do at the PWG shows.
Thank you.
I'll tell you this, it wouldn't be the same without you announcing, the guys. Because ever since I started going there, you've been there. So, but yeah, man.
Yeah, I love ring announcing. That was what I initially did when I first got involved with wrestling and being a part of the show. I'm still able to do that at PWG, and I love all the guys there. And I've been there since their second year, since their second year anniversary. So, coming up, we have the 11th year anniversary in July, and that'll be 9 years I've been with PWG. So.
Yeah, man, I definitely can't wait for that. Of course, me and Oscar will definitely be there.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Oscar.
All right. Next question I asked, should have asked Marquez this when we had him a few months back, but hopefully you can answer this. But is there any plan to bring back a women's division back to Championship Wrestling Hollywood? I know in the past you guys had one during the NWA days. Is there any plans to bring back a women's division?
I've been asked that question a few times, whether it be on Twitter or on Facebook or other internet radio shows I do. Right now, it's not in the works in the near future, but it's something that's consistently discussed. And really the main reason why that is, it's actually a couple reasons. Number one, when we did have women's wrestling on our program, it was one of the lower rated segments of the show, or it would be the lowest quarter hour rating. That wasn't the case all the time, but it was the case the majority of the time. And the second piece is we already have a huge roster comprised of a ton of talent, so we just don't have room to squeeze in, any more bodies at the time. But it's something that we consistently discuss at our creative meetings on a regular basis. So I'm not saying no, and I'm not saying yes, but you'll just have to keep watching to find out.
All right, cool. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, hopefully you bring in, because I'm a type of guy that likes to be fair, like to see everything, you guys have a single for men, women division, and guys got a tag division on that, so hopefully in the future, or, you can bring a women's division, and we should see what kind of talent you will bring if you do doing a women's division.
And I agree with you that I do agree with you that that there needs to be a balance, and there should be a balance. But when you're talking about we have a roster of 25, 30 guys, 30 people on our roster already, and we only have a 60-minute show each and every week. That's where the big challenge is.
Yeah, I figure, and you have a 60-minute show, and I get you. You guys have 2 hours like WWE, so. I feel
if we had multiple shows per week, or if we had a 2-hour show or 2-hour broadcast, then it could potentially be. I can tell you that women's match or a mixed tag was being tossed around for the Red Carpet Rumble, but it just we decided to go a different direction.
Oh, okay. Well, because hopefully you guys do a women's division, and like I said to some people, I can name 5 women you can have in your roster right now, but like I said, hopefully in the future you do.
I could name 5 women that I'd want on our roster right now. So
one is Hudson, and the other one is Candice LeRae. I can keep going.
Well, who would be okay? So let me turn it around on you guys. Let me interview you guys for one quick second. Who would be the 5 women you would put on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood today?
Me? For me?
We'll go around the horn. Let's go around the horn. Let's start with you, Skits.
Me, Hudson, MV, Candice LeRae. Well, we already have Allie Parker, so that's 3. 4, I'll give Taylor Hendricks a shot. And 5, Cheerleader Melissa.
Oh.
Hey, your 5 isn't too far from my 5. So what about you, Oscar? Who's your 5?
Well, okay, well, he named some of them, but I would say Cheerleader Melissa, Hudson Envy, Candice LeRae. I will say, let me see. You got Kylie Sutton, Allie Parker. My favorite one, I'll say, I'm trying to think of from AWS. I'll say, the Tura, the Luchador chick. At least I have some pretty digital. Nice Luchador chick in your division.
Okay,
that would be my 5.
What about you, Tom?
Awesome.
I'd have to agree with you, Skits. Your 5 was what I was thinking. Once you were going through those ladies, I was thinking the exact same thing. All 5 of those, women's wrestlers are at the top of their game, and compare, to below. I wouldn't say below, but just kind of rise above every other women's wrestler I feel currently in that area at the time. And maybe there's a possibility that you could bring in some other talent, maybe some Midwest talent. If you could get a Veda Scott, by the chance, or if you could get, whoever. So, but if you had to start a group of 5, I'd have to go use Skits.
You gotta go Candice LeRae. She's like your first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, Another thing I would love. This is actually not an interview. This is a request. If Championship Wrestling Hollywood can give Sasha and Che Cabrera a shot at the tag team titles.
Hey, well, the Revolution just ended a huge, several-month-long feud with the Suttons, who came out on top. So you really got to think that they are definitely top contenders for the Heritage Tag Team titles. Time will tell if they're going to receive that shot, but they're definitely deserving of it, I feel.
Yeah, man. Definitely on that. And for some reason, I want to see them feud with, it would have been nice, but they're not together no more, with Tito and Rocky. So, but maybe that could happen in another promotion.
That could potentially happen because Tito and Rico are still AWS Tag Team Champions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and Sasha and Che both work for Bart. So Bart, if you're listening to this, man, make it happen. Los Bandidos versus the Revolution.
We need that.
You know what? Actually, on Facebook, on one of their, Bart posted something on one of those events page on Facebook, and they posted a picture of those Bandinos, and he said, "Who would like to see go against those Bandinos?" I tagged Skits, and I said, "My boy Skits wants to see them against, Sasha and Che." That's all. Yeah. Oh no! I mean Sasha and Che, not Rico.
Yeah.
Rico and with Tito.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's why I hopefully Bart read that, so hopefully it can happen.
I'm gonna pass it on to Tom, and then I have a couple questions about the Red Carpet Rumble that you probably can answer.
Okay, great.
That the guys couldn't answer. That
sure.
We had on this past week. So go for it, Tom.
No, I was going to say you can keep rolling with these questions because mainly my questions were going to go to PWG, but I want to stay in championship right now.
Okay. Championship.
Yeah, let's focus on the Red Carpet Rumble. That's coming up this Sunday. So what questions do you have, man? Fire away.
All right, Red Carpet Rumble. Can you tell us any matches that you have booked? Can you give us?
Yeah, I can tell you the whole card actually.
All right.
So we're going to have, obviously, the Red Carpet Rumble match. And the biggest difference between our Rumble and the other Rumble matches are when it comes down to the final two, it becomes a standard wrestling match. So after going nearly 60 minutes toe-to-toe with 28 other guys, the final two have to, get their minds right and immediately wrestle a standard wrestling match. So there's 30 total participants. That do include Sean X-Pac Waltman. We have Willie Mack is in the Red Carpet Rumble, Big Duke, Family Stone, the Revolution, the Suttons. So all your favorites from our television show will be taking part in the Red Carpet Rumble match itself. 2-men start, and every 90 seconds a new person will enter the match. Elimination over the top rope, both feet hitting the floor. Then the final two obviously becomes a standard wrestling match. And the winner of the Red Carpet Rumble this year not only receives a guaranteed shot at the Hollywood Heritage Championship at a time and date of their choosing, but they will also be the first entrant into the United Wrestling Network's World's Heavyweight Championship tournament. That's going to happen sometime this year. So aside from the Red Carpet Rumble match itself, the MAV television title will be on the line. Joey Ryan will be trying to get his title back against the current champion, Ryan Taylor. Then we have the Hollywood Heritage Tag Team Championships as the Rock Ness Monsters defend against Colt Cabana and Peter Avalon. And one thing that I really love about this match is if you've been following us from episode 1 of the program, the very first match on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood was Colt Cabana versus Peter Avalon. So this is going to be a very, very special match for a number of reasons. And the Hollywood Heritage Championship will be on the line. Ricky Mandel will attempt to defend his title against Matt Hardy. And and obviously a match that I'm truly, truly excited about, the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles, will be going one-on-one for the first time ever against Trent Beretta. So that is all going down this Sunday, June 15th, Ocean View Pavilion. Tix.com for your tickets. And also, on top of all of that, we're going to have a special meet and greet with WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts. So it's going to be a great night, a great opportunity for you to bring Dad out to the matches, get a little bit of something for him so he gets to meet Jake and gets to enjoy a great wrestling show. And then for you also, because then you get to see AJ Styles and Trent Beretta go at it for the first time. So a number of reasons why this is a can't-miss event.
Wow. I just want to ask you now, personally, is it okay if I tweet about the AJ Trent Beretta match, or do you want to keep this on the low?
No, you can tweet about it, man. I mean, we announced it a couple weeks ago, actually. So
I did not see it.
Yeah, so the whole card was put out there in a press release. So yeah, you feel free to tweet about it, man, and it's gonna be an awesome match.
That's gonna be bananas. Wow. So, question is, are they going to announce Trent as Trent ? Or Trent Beretta?
I don't know yet. That's a question for Dan Masters, our ring announcer.
Nice.
Oh, man. But I love that card, man. I'm hyped, dude. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be hyped. And I know Tom, he's in New York, but he's got to be hyped just by listening.
Yeah, and then the cool thing, the thing about it is, you have to be there live to experience it because of time constraints. We do not know what we're going to be able to air and what we're not going to be able to air. There are also some contractual type stuff since some of the competitors are on television for another promotion. So there's some legal stuff too. So at this time, we don't know what we're going to be able to air and what we're not going to air. So the only way you're going to be able to see it all is if you're in person. I know, Tom, you're in New York, so I'll get you the fan cam footage.
That sounds good. See, that's how you know a card is good, is when you're on the other side of the country and you're like, damn, I wish I was on the other side of the country just to see a wrestling match.
Trent Beretta.
We've been toying around with the idea for well over a year about getting into iPay-per-view or getting on just normal pay-per-view, but we really feel that for this event we want to make it special for those in attendance. Nothing against people that can't make it that are out of state, but we want to have that desire from people out of state to want to travel to come to our big shows. Because even though the Red Carpet Rumble is currently our premier event, if this event goes well, then there's going to be future, big events going down, throughout the course of the year. So, hopefully we can pack the Ocean View Pavilion out. After or before you come out to the show, you can go to the beach, because those of you that haven't been to the Ocean View Pavilion, the beach is literally across the street from the venue.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Might find me a chick over there.
How could people not love that? You just go to the beach and you're, get a little bit of a tan and you're like, I want to go see some wrestling. It's going to be a good day.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, what I was going to comment on, because you said that, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood wanted to dabble into the iPay-per-view business. With a promotion your size, I think that's where a lot of people are making the mistake, is kind of going into it a little too quickly. You work for PWG, and one of the magic for PWG is that they can book a lot of people because they're not on iPay-per-view, even though people request it, daily. They say, why isn't PWG on iPay-per-view? I would pay, $40 to see it on iPay-per-view, but then it wouldn't be PWG. Since they've began, they've gone on DVD sales. So,
and there's a lot of things that the average person doesn't realize goes into the production of the iPay-per-view, because now we're talking about we'd have to bring on a third-party broadcaster to broadcast it. we have to make sure the venue has enough internet bandwidth to support it. And as you guys have seen in the past with iPay-per-views, that's kind of hit and miss, with the streaming issues that some companies have had in the past. No matter how much bandwidth you have, or no matter what type of equipment or what servers you have, there's always that if factor. So there's a lot of moving parts in the iPay-per-view business. So again, like I said with the women's division, it's not out of the question, but it's not in the current equation right now for us.
That's why, if you can't do iPay-per-view, DVDs, still sell. People still, if wrestling cards are good enough, people are going to request DVDs, and, they'll pay for shipping, if it's across the country or wherever.
Yeah, and then the problem with the iPay-per-view piece, too, with us, is since we're on national television with MAV TV, we're not sure if there'd be a desire for people to pay for it when they can watch it for free every week. So especially since we're still a growing company. It's not like WWE where, we're on TV 3 or 4 times a week and people still will shell out the money for a pay-per-view,
Yeah, or even like a Ring of Honor, which, they're owned by a major broadcasting company, and they're not even on, major network TV. And, they've been, they were struggling for years with iPay-per-view with, connection quality and microphones and, all these little things that just diminish the quality of it. And, it seems like they're getting, back to, good quality iPay-per-views where you stream, and now they're actually getting on pay-per-view. So it was a long process for them, but, I think it pays off once you start growing and you start, testing things out as a company.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Angelo, my next question, how you guys had the event with Samoa Joe versus Willie Mack, and now you guys have guys like AJ Styles, Trent, and Matt Hardy, and X-Pac, and Jake Roberts coming to the Red Carpet Rumble. Could we expect more events like this?
Yeah, what I can tell you, man, is since we released information about the Open Door Challenge, that we have to our company, to where anybody from any promotion is welcome to come in and challenge whomever they want within our company for whatever title. You never know what is going to happen or who is going to show up. Again, like I mentioned earlier, if the Red Carpet Rumble does really well, then there's going to be future big shows aside from the Red Carpet Rumble on an annual basis. So, again, just like with any other company, we're trying to grow and we're trying to take that next step. And, obviously the next step from what we've been doing is to, host multiple big-time events per year. So, the ultimate goal for me personally through the creative process is to do one big show a quarter. It's just we don't know if we have the financial means or if we have the manpower to do it. We have a very, very small office, and we all have our regular jobs aside from writing and producing the television. So we're all stretched very thin, but when we're focusing on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, we're always focused on it 110%, and what's not only best for you guys, the viewers and our fans, but also what's best for our cast and our crew and our talent. So
definitely, man. I'm definitely looking forward to more events like that, because that Samoa Joe Willie Mack match was phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to see some more matches like that. So
awesome.
So yeah. Oscar, is that Oscar next, right?
Yeah. Just right now, said you're planning to do more shows. I know the last one you guys did, the last big show you did was the one with Samoa Joe. It was a non-televised event, which I actually enjoyed that show. And the next one to say you're going to take some matches, but my question I ask you is there any works of doing another non-televised show, just like when you guys did with Samoa Joe back in November?
Well, the formula to running a successful wrestling organization obviously is to have consistent television, which we have already. Then obviously the next logical step to provide supplemental income to a promotion would be to run non-televised events, right? Because obviously our typical television tapings are free, so there's no income coming in from there. So the next logical step would be running more house shows. The problem with running house shows is, again, like I said, we have a very small office, and we've done some house shows in the past. And I actually put on a house show in May of 2012, and it's very taxing. And I'd rather just stick to the actual writing and creative or announcing aspect than having to promote a show. So that's what we're looking for, are promoters or people locally that are willing to partner with us to promote non-televised wrestling events. So aside from the running more bigger shows, running more house shows is going to be the next priority on our list.
All right. Well, if you have another non-televised show or a show like you're going to Sunday, hopefully down the road you can bring back the next Champions Wrestling start back, and the guy's name is Austin Curry. So I hope you can bring him back, and it'll be cool seeing him again. All right, then go ahead, Skipster Tom.
I was just going to comment and say it must be, pretty hard, first of all, doing televised things when you don't know who you can get. And then even if you do house shows, you still don't know who you can get because a lot of the major indie stars are booked, pretty heavily. Having AJ Styles on your show this Sunday is is a pretty big thing because, AJ Styles has been running through not only the American Indies circuit, but he's been in Europe, and of course he's been, running ship in New Japan and with the Bullet Club.
Yeah, and and to that point, man, I can't tell you, and while I can't go into much detail and name any names, but what I can tell you is, in the process of booking and creating the Red Carpet Rumble and the best possible show for our company and for the fans, the talent on the show changed. I can't even tell you how many times over the course of the last 3 to 4 months because of either availability issues or because or whatever the case is, or they were already booked, or they couldn't make it because it's Father's Day. I can't tell you how many times the talent list for our show Sunday changed. But I really think everything worked out for the best, and we have the best possible card that we can provide for our fans.
Yeah, man. I have another question. This actually is not wrestling related question, but also besides you working with Championship Wrestling Hollywood and being a ring announcer for PWG, you also are a singer. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, man. So, I did dip into and have a very brief and not very extravagant music career. I'm also a singer. I primarily was doing R&B stuff, and actually I'm in my office right now, and I'm looking up at the wall, and I have my CDs hanging on the wall, so it's kind of a constant reminder of stuff that I've accomplished. But so I do have some music on iTunes. Just search for my name, Angelo Trinidad. You'll be able to find a couple songs on there. I have some videos on YouTube if you guys want to dig into the vault and pull those up and check those out. I'll occasionally post some wrestling stuff or some music stuff on my Throwback Thursday on my Instagram account. So, there's really two things I truly had passion for growing up as a kid, and that was pro wrestling and music. And I just happened to be able to dabble in a little bit of both. And while I didn't see a lot of success with the music, I did get a lot of gratification with, releasing my own music and and writing my own music and working with some very, very talented people over the course of the years that have made it big in the music world. So I've been very, very blessed to be able to do two of the things I'm very, very passionate about.
Yeah, man.
Have you downloaded my song, Skits?
I have not yet, but I actually Googled a picture and I saw you in sunglasses and a hat, and I'm like, oh shit, he sings too?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, man, it'll be the best 99 cents that you've spent all day today, unless you went to Jack in the Box and got 2 tacos. So.
Oh, that sounds good too. I'll definitely look into it because I'm real big into music too. So I'll definitely look into it.
Yeah, man. I don't really do the music stuff a lot anymore, just for time reasons. But you know, I basically have half the album recorded, ready to go. I actually a couple years ago I recorded a theme song for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood that we haven't used yet. So eventually, I hope that's going to come to fruition, and we'll be able to. You guys will be able to hear that.
Yeah, our buddy Bruce was also telling us. I don't know how true this is. He said that you work with GameStop. You're like you work in the district. Like you're the district manager.
My real job in the day is I'm an area manager for GameStop. So I get to work with video games and I get to work with wrestling every day. So
2 of the best jobs ever.
Yeah, man, I'm very, very blessed, man. I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, he wants
games.
Bruce wanted us to tell you hi, by the way.
Oh, awesome, man. Bruce is awesome. Bruce has done a lot to try to help me rejuvenate my music career. But, you know, just unfortunately my passion is lined within wrestling. So Bruce continues to talk to me every PWG show, telling me about events and getting him, you know, demos and stuff so he can pass out. One of these days I'm going to take him up on that offer. But right now, man, I'm laser focused, man, on the Red Carpet Rumble. So, Bruce, if you're listening, man, I appreciate the help. And one of these days, man, we'll link up and we'll get my stuff out there.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you're free next time after PWG. We like to go to Denny's. You're more than welcome to join us. So.
Oh, cool, man. I appreciate that. It really all depends, man, because normally I carpool out to the show since it's a little bit of trek in traffic. I don't mind the drive. It's just sitting in traffic by myself is probably the worst thing that can ever happen. So I try to carpool with some people. That way, at least we can entertain each other and keep each other company throughout traffic. So, but yeah, I'll definitely have to take you up on that offer one of these days for sure.
Yeah, def. Tom, did you have a question, sir?
I think we should. I want to talk some PWG if that's okay with you.
That's definitely fine.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, PWG 11's coming up, and you know, PWG seems to be just growing, you know, by the year. You know, I just want to, you know, get your opinion on, you know, the growth that you've seen in PWG over the time that, you know, you first discovered it, and even the first time you started announcing.
You know, what I'll tell you, man, is with PWG, the quality of the shows has always been the same from the very beginning to now. It's just, you know, now people are starting to notice it or hear about it through word of mouth or through the internet, through social media, and that's why it's continuing to grow. But the shows have always been fantastic and great and phenomenal, and this is even going back to when I first started watching and helping out with the ring and everything. So the shows have always been great. You know, there's always been a rotating door of talent to come in and out. And, you know, I'm just lucky to have seen, you know, a ton of people wrestle live that, you know, a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to, so.
Yeah, man.
You know, when you're over there in the West Coast, you know, especially Southern California, you know, PWG was growing so fast, within its first year or two, because it spread word of mouth there. I didn't get really into PWG until 2011. And, when I got into it, I wanted to see what it was about from the past. So, watching shows from, 2005, watching, Bola 2006. And it's crazy to see how much it's changed, just the, sheer size, the quality of the shows, like you said, haven't changed. There's always been top quality matches, always comedy, and then you have Excalibur, who hasn't changed on commentary since he started.
Yeah. And, the thing with PWG, too, is, and I think this is one of the things that draws a lot of people to it, it's a very non-traditional wrestling show, right? So, wrestling, as everybody knows it, is, what they see on television with WWE, what they see with our program, what they see with TNA. So there's consistent storylines. So if you were not a fan and you were at a friend's house, you'd be asking your friend all these questions throughout the broadcast. Like, okay, so why is he mad at him? Okay, well, so why is he doing that? Like, okay, so he's acting like his friend, but he's really not because he's with, he's partners with the other guy or whatever the case is. That's something that you constantly see. That's something I constantly see when I have my non-wrestling friends come over and watch with us. But with PWG, it's very non-traditional in the sense of, there's probably one or two storylines going on at any given time, but each match is looked at almost essentially as its own individual episode, right? So it's very easy for somebody who's not familiar with wrestling at all to go to a show and understand what's going on. That's, I think, that's what draws people to it, and obviously all the athleticism and the high spots and the flips off the top and the whole nine. Like that's all that combined is what draws people to PWG because it's a very non-traditional show.
Yeah,
and it's something.
A lot of the older PWG. Oh, go ahead.
And it's something you don't see, like, typically when you watch wrestling, like, on television,
Yeah. I was going to say, older PWG definitely was more storyline driven because you had a whole bunch of different storylines, not as quite as, a major level, but you still had different storylines going on as, today in PWG, like you said, maybe there'd be one or two storylines going on. It's not as in-depth, You look back at old PWG when you had, like, Human Tornado and Chris Hero, that feud, Super Dragon and Kevin Steen. Those storylines dragged out, for, years. And totally. It's not the same in PWG today, which, it's not an knock on PWG. Today I think it's a lot more conflicting with people's schedules and how they can book them. So it's still good, it's still good, as good as ever. So that's the thing about PWG is you don't need storylines because, like you said, it's so different than what you see. It's a big alternative from what you're going to see from WWE, from TNA, even from the Ring of Honor, which prides itself as being, the top independent promotion. What you see in PWG is completely different from Ring of Honor, and it's been like that for years.
Yeah. I was going to say something about that. Like, do you think PWG, it would be nice to add, like, promos, I know you said there's, like, maybe one or two storylines. Do you think it would be nice to add some promos in the DVD so, like, the folks that never seen PWG would like, kind of know what's going on?
Well, they used to put promos on the DVDs in the past. The promos would be either before the show or after the show on the DVD. But now they just utilize YouTube to post any promos that they need to. Like with the Battle of Los Angeles a couple years ago, they had all the entrants independently shoot their own promo and send it in to talk about Battle of Los Angeles. So they've more gone along the lines of that. Because you got to realize too, just as with CWFH, PWG is a very, very small office. And they all have their full-time jobs as well. So it's very taxing to throw in promos when you're already having to edit DVDs with a very quick turnaround time, which you typically see with PWG DVDs. So, you see how quickly they get those highlight videos up. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with video editing or anything like that, but those highlight videos are very time-consuming to put together. They're not easy to do. So. Yeah.
And it just speaks to the work that Excalibur and Super Dragon do. I'm not sure. Is it just, as far as I know, it's just them two? Is it anybody else working on the?
There's a couple other people that you're probably not familiar with that do help out. But the same can be said for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood too, because for as taxing it as it is for those guys in PWG to do that, we have national television that we shoot and edit and have a very quick turnaround with, and it's only one guy.
Yeah.
So it's very, very challenging.
Yeah, man. Don, did you have a question about anything that about PWG?
No, I was, it's cool to hear, because, Angelo, I've been hearing your voice on PWG DVDs since, because that's when I first started getting into it was 2011, and I was like, that announcer's, he's good, and then of course, you get super kicked by the Young Bucks, so.
Yeah, those jerks, man, super kicked me for no reason.
Oh man!
You gotta team up with Rick Knox and just clothesline them both. Do that double clothesline.
Oh man!
I think
I don't know if you guys want to see that, man. I'll get blown up so quick it's not even funny.
All it takes, that's all you need is just one double clothesline, and that receded crowd would just pop.
That's like one of my top moments seeing you in PWG. That and the announcement of Lee Max and B-Boy's team.
Who pushed me? Oh, the Rock Ness Monsters pushed me, man. Willie was mad at me. He thought I legit hit him. I said, dude, what are you doing, man?
Hey, I was hoping you actually said it too. When you when you were calling out the realist, you know what? I was hoping you said it. I really was.
You can say it. Come on, Skits. You can say it.
I was really I was like, Angelo, say it.
I've said it before. Willie gave me the green light to say it. So Willie gave me the green light to say it, and I was born and raised in Stockton, so I earned my right to say it already.
Yeah. I was for sure hoping you said it, but then they pushed you out the way, so.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask, did you ever get any pointers from John Ian? Did he ever give you any advice or just kind of coach you through anything?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The reason why I got into how I started ring announcing was because of John Ian. So John Ian ran a promotion from 2008, starting in 2008, called Mop on Wrestling. And, he and I had become friends through PWG, which eventually turned into, carpooling to PWG. So we spent a lot of hours in the car just talking, and he was telling me he was starting up a promotion and he wanted my help, and I told him I'd be willing to do whatever he needed to help. So I helped him promote his shows and flyer, and I helped set up the ring, and I helped, do all that stuff. And, one of the shows, the ring announcer couldn't make it because of a family emergency. So John was scrambling because since he was the promoter and the booker, he just didn't want to add that extra task on himself. So I just told him I'd do it. And he had no idea that I had any interest in it. I had no idea if I'd even be any good. And, I had my dirty, shorts and T-shirt on from setting up the wrestling ring, and I just went out there and did it, and he said I wasn't half bad, and gave me the opportunity and gave me some pointers to help me get better. David Marquez helped me a lot in learning how to announce television wrestling, and learning that I control the tempo of the show, because I'm basically the ringleader in there, so to speak. And Adam Pearce helped me a lot too, because during the inception of the television program, Adam Pearce was the booker, and I had Adam Pearce in my headset, for the first 30 or 40 episodes. So he helped coach me through a lot of the timing and the poise, and I picked up a lot of stuff along the ways from other people that I've met, and making sure I stand flat-footed and straight, shows poise and confidence. Make sure I don't fidget or have my hands in my pockets. The one thing I get complimented the most about from PWG fans is the PWG fans are blown away that I don't use cards or look at a sheet or whatever when I'm in the ring. So, and that comes with time, and that comes with announcing the guys, every month. So I know all their stuff already in my head. So, yeah, a lot of people have really helped me along the way, for sure.
Yeah, man. You definitely do a hell of a job at that.
Thank you, man.
Angelo, before we let you go, you want to throw any of your social medias out there, your Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff? So other fans can reach?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I shamelessly self-plug my social media outlets, I did want to shamelessly self-plug one more time Championship Wrestling from Hollywood's Red Carpet Rumble this Sunday, Ocean View Pavilion, 2:30 p.m. The doors open. We have a great show, stat card. You've heard all the names. It's all over the social media world and the internet. We still have tickets available. $50 includes priority seating and a pre-show meet and greet. $30 general admission. We just announced yesterday, for those fans that are concerned about the far drive out to Ventura County, that we will be offering a bus service from Sherman Oaks to the Ocean View Pavilion for anybody that purchases a $50 ticket starting yesterday. And if you purchase a $30 ticket, you have the option to take the bus ride for $10. So that's a huge opportunity for those fans that lack transportation or that are concerned about putting the mileage on their car to go all the way out to Ventura County. So we're really trying to eliminate any excuse for anybody not showing up. So Championship Wrestling from Hollywood's Red Carpet Rumble this Sunday, June 15th. Follow us on Twitter at CWF Hollywood. Like us on Facebook, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I hope to see a lot of you guys in the crowd. Skits, you're going to be there, right?
Oh, for sure. I actually told my dad that I had work. I lied to him.
Oh man, that's only between you, me, and the rest of the listeners of this broadcast. So
yeah, but
Oscar, are you tagging along with Skits?
Yeah, I'll ask you if that bus shuttle. I'm like, okay, in Sherman Oaks, okay, because I live in Hawthorne, and I was thinking about taking the 405, and if I'm going to pass Sherman Oaks, maybe I should look at that bus because the day before I'm actually going to be in San Diego. So I'm like, I gotta do that San Diego, wake up early, see my dad, and then get over in Championship Hollywood. So that's a lot of driving there,
Did you already buy your ticket for the show, Oscar?
I'm not yet. I'm planning to do it either after we're done with this show or tomorrow. That's what I'm planning to do.
Yeah, perfect, man. Yeah, if you pick up the $50 ticket, it's included with it. The address is on our Facebook of where to go. You can park your car there. And then it's like a 50-minute to 1 hour bus ride from Sherman Oaks to Ocean View Pavilion.
Okay.
It'll get there with plenty of enough time to get there for the meet and greet, and it's going to leave at a time to allow you to buy some last minute merch after the show. Also, too, on top of the bus ride, we are going to have, and I just found this out. This is breaking news exclusively for WrestlingHeads Radio.
Oh.
But we're going to have. Yeah, we're going to have limited edition Red Carpet Rumble T-shirts. So if you guys were at last year's show, we have those available, and we're going to have them available this year as well. Limited quantity. There's only 50 T-shirts. So you got to think we can fit 800 people in the venue, but we're only going to have 50 T-shirts available. So they're going to go quick. They're $20, first come, first serve. We're going to have them available during the meet and greet. We'll have them available before the show if they last that long. And if there's still some left after the show, we'll have them available then, too. So breaking news for you guys.
All right, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. And hold on, before you leave, I just want to add one more thing. Is there some time I have to be in Sherman Oaks for that bus ride?
All the information is on the Facebook page. We put out a release for it yesterday. And if you want more information, you can email info@hollywoodwrestling.com, I believe is the email address. But the email address is listed on that Facebook post, so just check it out. All the info's there.
All right, I'm gonna check that out then. You know, I should check it out right now. My computer's right in front of me, so I'll check it out right now.
Perfect. And before I go, I do want to shamelessly self-plug my social media outlets. So you can follow me on Twitter @ATMusic, CWFH. You can follow me on Instagram at the same handle @ATMusic, CWFH. I need more followers. I want more followers, so follow me. And I'm on Facebook also, Angelo Trinidad. So I want to thank you guys for having me on, man. I had a great time just chopping it up with you guys. So.
Yeah, man. Definitely. We'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see everyone on Sunday, Red Carpet Rumble.
All right, man.
All right. Take care, man.
All right.
Angelo Trinidad, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood creative team is on the team. And if you watch PWG, he is the man that announces guys like Kevin Steen, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, the Young Bucks, and et cetera, et cetera. So you should know who that guy is if you're a big indie fan.
Yeah.
Awesome interview.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a couple. He's a nice dude, so. Yeah. I'm ready to shoot the shit.
Real quick, yeah, we're going to definitely shoot the shit. But real quick, let's take a quick break because a lot of shit happened. A lot of announcements have happened today in wrestling. So let's take a break, and we'll be back to talk some wrestling. We'll be right back.
This is BJ Whitmer, and you're listening to WrestlingHeads Radio.
Four Corners Radio is the home for the best professional wrestling and independent wrestling. Discussions and coverage. Billy, Ant, Martin, and Sam bring you three of the best podcasts every week. The Four Corners Raw Roundtable, the Indie Project, and the Saturday Freestyle. Along with the podcast, FourCornersWrestling.com is designed with all wrestling fans in mind. Feature articles, videos, the weekly shows, and much more. Four Corners and Wrestling Heads are teaming up to bring you wrestling's next revolution. Are you ready?
Welcome back to WH Radio, hashtag that, if you're listening. Or you can call us up at 760-454-1107 and get in the talk. Make sure you're talking wrestling and not no bullshit, please. I'm Skits. You got Oscar and Tom. And let's shoot the shit, boys.
Yeah, I want to shoot something at fuck the New York Rangers. That's all I got to say.
I told you. I mean, you guys might be going back to L.A., but the Rangers got the momentum now. We're going to go into L.A. Marty St. Louis is going to do his thing. Lundqvist is going to do his thing. He's going to be blocking shots.
Fuck on.
That's all I got to say.
It's okay. Maybe the Kings win it in L.A. and have a big party here in L.A., so.
Yeah. Like I said, the Rangers made it to the finals. I'd rather see the Rangers make it than, like, the Bruins or, you know, the Penguins or the Flyers. I'm glad the Rangers took care of the Penguins and Flyers back to back.
All right.
Yeah. I got some breaking news. I don't know if you guys
something most New Yorkers hate, like, Pennsylvania teams. Like, we hate the Penguins. We hate the Flyers. We hate the Eagles. We hate the Steelers. Pennsylvania, go suck a dick.
Oh, Chris, hear that? But anyways, what's your breaking news again?
Breaking news, in case you didn't know, there's been a ladder match added at TNA Slammiversary.
I wanted to rant on this for a little bit.
Really? What is this ladder match?
So this ladder match is basically it's a kickoff show, I believe, and it's a 6-man ladder match for the X Division Championship. You got You got Manic. You got Tiger, Uno. You got Crazy Steve, Eddie Edwards, and Davey Richards. And how you say this guy's name?
Sonata.
And you got Sonata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be for the X Division title in a ladder match. Now, listen. I would say since maybe November of last year, I started watching TNA a little bit regularly again. You know, I was kind of on and off with TNA. And for the first part of 2014, they seemed like they were getting their shit together. And then for the past couple months, they've been just going downhill. And this is going to be a good match. I don't deny it. You know, all those guys in there. Maybe besides Crazy Steve, because I don't know what the hell he's going to do. I don't think he's a great high flyer because I don't know who the hell he is. But you can't tell me that this is not a knockoff of Money in the Bank. You know, I know TNA does these type of matches, but with Money in the Bank so close, and this match was just announced, you know, the Wednesday before the pay-per-view. If they were going to hype this match up, this should have been announced immediately.
It's funny that you actually
you know, I think they panicked, and with Money in the Bank coming up, they wanted to be just like the WWE, so they said, let's put a ladder match together. Let's put a multi-man ladder match together. You know, it sounds like a cool match, but I just can't help to think, why did they wait so long to hype something like this? If they would have announced this, you know, as soon as they could have, you know, if they would have announced this weeks ago, they could have built up a story and they could have, you know, got me interested in possibly buying the pay-per-view.
You know, it's funny that you say that because Money in the Bank is definitely coming up, and now they're going to have a ladder match, and it's for a title, but it's for the X Division title, which now the X Division title, I believe you can cash it in, right?
Yeah.
You can cash it in to get a shot at the title.
World title, yeah.
The question is, are the Wolves going to be having double duty?
Yeah, it looks like it because they tease a tag match, and yeah, like
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, you have this whole thing with the Wolves involved with the storyline with MVP, Lashley, and Kenny King, but then they're thrown into an X Division ladder match. They're not even, the tag team titles aren't even defended, you know. Because,
is there any
you know,
tag
look at that tag team division. That tag team division is the bromans and the Wolves. And you know what you could have done? You could have put the TNA tag titles on the line, and you could have had the Wolves go against Kenny King and Bobby Lashley. That would have been more interesting.
It would have made sense storyline-wise.
TNA, if you're listening, hire Tommy.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just looking forward to a good match because that sounds like a good match. Anyways, I'm just hyped to see T.J. Perkins is back. That's one thing I'm just definitely happy to see is T.J. You know, back.
And what? If TJ doesn't walk over the X Division title, then what? He's not going to come back for another 6 months.
Well, this said, I heard that he's going to be back on television on the regular, so.
Better. Well, we'll see what happens. Because I don't want just to, like, sign and look like it was a waste, and then, they could have like a Joe Ryan issue there, you know?
Yeah. Man.
Like I said, TNA had a chance to have Joey Ryan, Brian Cage, and Candice LeRae. 3 good talents. Great talents.
Awesome.
And what did they do? They did shit.
Yep.
And like
so
I said,
right now,
you know, Manic is, you know, T.J. Perkins. When was the last time he was on TNA? You know, on TV or a pay-per-view? You know, I can't remember.
I see Lockdown when he wrestled Tigre Uno.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like I said, you know, I wasn't a big T.J. Perkins fan when he was in PWG. You know, obviously he had, you know, great in-ring skills. I was just never a fan of his mic work or his charisma or whatever it was. I just wasn't a big TJP fan, but I knew he had talent, and he just isn't utilized, so.
Yeah. Well, I hope TNA starts utilizing him after Slammiversary. So besides that match, you also got Eric Young. MVP is now confirmed. He will be in this match. So MVP will be wrestling now against Eric Young. He confirmed it on the Chris Jericho show. Bully Ray and EC3, you got them going at it. You got the Von Erich family in action. You got Lashley against Samoa Joe. Willow, a.k.a. Jeff Hardy, versus Magnus. James Storm versus Mr. Anderson, which that storyline, I really don't know too much about it, but I know these guys are going at it, and I kind of enjoy what I'm seeing. I'm not a big James Storm fan, but Mr. Anderson, you got to love him.
I think that storyline's been shit too. Like, the whole storyline of James Storm and Mr. Anderson was Mr. Anderson fake getting drunk and attacking James Storm. That was it. That was a storyline, was Mr. Anderson pretending to get drunk to beat up a drunk James Storm. What was the point of fake getting drunk?
Well, I think it started when, I forgot, like, it was during a match that Anderson and James Storm, they were involved in a tag match, then they got into, like, a Raw, and then they went to that bar shit that you're talking about right now, Tom. It's been going on for a cool bit, so.
And, you know, I'm honestly, I'm not a fan of Mr. Anderson. I don't find him very funny. You know, he once in a while will do something a little bit funny, but for the most part, it's not funny stuff, at least to me. You know, some people could feel different. I don't find him funny. Mr. Anderson, I don't feel is good in the ring. So it's just a whatever storyline. You know, it's TNA. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
That's just me shooting the shit.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I never liked him even when he was in WWE, right, you know, when he was Mr. Kennedy. Huh?
They got Kenny King versus Austin Aries. You guys always put on a good match together, so that's one match.
That should be a good match, so I would look forward to that.
So out of all the matches on the card, my favorite match that I'm probably looking forward to right now is Austin Aries versus Kenny King.
Yeah.
But once again, ladies and gentlemen, you want to join in this conversation, you want to shoot some shit, 760-454-1107.
I want to go back on something. When was it? Was it yesterday or was it Monday? That was it Skitz or Oscar that said that Slammiversary it was going to be the Wolves versus the Bucks?
That was me.
The Wolves versus the Bucks. You see,
I didn't say.
You put too much faith in TNA. You know, if that was like Ring of Honor, then I would put more trust in it.
I didn't say it was going to happen. I said Davey Richards was on a podcast and he said that they're going to face a special tag team. And I was like, what special tag team could that be? The Bucks? I didn't say it was.
Well, see, they're not even in a tag team match. So Davey Richards kind of are you sure it was for TNA? I don't think they're doing any other promotions.
Unless they're doing double duty, which we don't know yet.
Which I don't think they are.
Most likely they are. I think most likely it's going to happen.
I mean, I don't think they are. Look at the card. The card is already too crowded, so. But, that's what's going on with TNA. What else you got, Oscar?
Well, I actually got some news that I saw earlier today. If you want to get off the TNA talk, but it confirmed some wrestlers on the new WWE 2K15 game, they announced that AJ Lee, Naomi, Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, and Cesaro will be in the game. They announced it on E3 earlier today. Yeah.
Sounds legit. And
yeah,
think about that. Think about when they first announced big names. They announced John Cena, Hulk Hogan. Bam. Two Hall of Famers right there. And then they announced Bray Wyatt and Cesaro along with that. Obviously they have faith in both of those guys going forward as young stars for the future, or else they wouldn't announce them first.
You know what pissed me off last year's game is that, okay, I knew the Wyatts barely debuted in the summer of last year, but tied to put him in the last game. I mean, I could go back remembering the right to censor, and they added them in the game, which a lot of people think is the best wrestling game of all time, WWF No Mercy. So they were only around like 2 months, and then they added them in the video game. Why they couldn't do that for the Wyatts?
Well,
you could have put them in the DLC.
It was easier back then to put characters into a game. If you look at the character, models back then, they were pretty simplistic models. There wasn't anything complicated.
Well, I
like
thought
that.
With the technology we have
think about the right to censor's entrance music. It was the same for all the guys. It wasn't anything big. It was that alarm sound. So the right to censor, I think, could easily be put in. But when you have something as complex as the WWE games are now, so you have to put in all of Bray Wyatt's moves. You have to put in Luke Harper's moves and Eric Rowan's moves, which are 3 different move sets. You have to put in their entrance together. You also have to do separate entrances. It's a lot more work, and I think this time it's going to be a bigger payoff. Plus, this is 2K Games basically debuted for WWE because they didn't have complete control over 2K14. They were kind of just handed it and kind of got the title of the game. So this is the first game where they kind of have control over it.
Okay. Yeah, because I just thought the new technology today, I thought it could have been done okay, why not they can start doing their move set and whatever they got to do, frame their bodies or whatever. And, why they couldn't do that during the time when they were showing their, vignettes on Raw. So when the game comes out, they're right there. At least put them for the DLC, because we could have, just download them and get them around January. So
I have a question for you. Does it feel, for both of you guys, has it felt like you guys have been playing the same WWE game and there's been no changes? It's just different characters?
Well, I haven't played WWE games in a while. I haven't played them, I would say, since, I think I played 12. I think that was the last one that I played. But yeah, it's kind of, the thing with WWE games over the past couple of years, I would say since 12, is the universe mode, I've heard, has sucked.
It's not even
if you guys
mean, universe mode is different now. You actually can have your a rival going on for a week, or you can change it for a long-term rival.
Yeah.
You can do that now.
And look what they did with WWE 13. What they did with WWE 13 is they hyped it on putting, an Attitude Era storyline. And it wasn't even really a storyline. It was playing through the Attitude Era again.
Yeah,
so
that's the mode.
Yeah,
that was that mode, Attitude Era mode. And it's like how this year's 2K14, they had that WrestleMania mode. That's basically what it was. So
yeah, it's not much has changed. What I liked about the older, SmackDown vs. Raw, 2006, has been my favorite game. I would say, for a while. I loved Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth. And the things that those games did is it's a video game. You know, you do try to be realistic, but at the same time, you want to make it a video game too, and you want to create some things in there that's, you know, arcadey. You know, you can have stupid game modes, or, you know, like the GM mode. You guys remember that?
Yeah, GM mode.
GM mode was fun. Like, you would take control of a show, and you get to run the show like you're, you know, like Eric Bischoff or, you know, Vicky Guerrero or whatever, and you're controlling everything, and you're trying to beat out the other show. I mean, you can't do that now. But they can
the thing I like about Universe,
mode.
You're kind of like, I wouldn't say like the GM. I mean, I don't do the matches that they tell me to do. I make my own matches, and the thing is, you know how it's Raw Superstars? Instead of Superstars, I replace that with like a Ring of Honor show or a PWG show, you know, like, instead of just doing WWE shows, I'll change the rosters. I put guys on certain rosters. I put certain guys on the PWG roster, certain guys that are on the Ring of Honor roster. Since it's your universe, I make it my own universe. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just me. I think you can download like people creations like Candice LeRae. You can download her, and then or funny characters. Like, doesn't even have to be wrestlers. Like, somebody can make a Bane character or Batman. You know, you can do all that stuff, or even arenas too, like PWG. Remember those pictures Chris was showing us, like New Japan?
Yeah.
Someone made a New Japan one, the Evolve arena, Ring of Honor arena. Those fucking arenas look sick. Belts too.
I don't know, because I know Tom said he hasn't played in a while, but it's a lot of new shit. But hopefully they add some new stuff. What I'm hearing, that if you play NBA 2K14, like, you have a career mode, you start off with your guy like in like the D League, and he gets drafted. Basically, you start off with your roster in NXT, try to make your main roster now. So
and you gotta build up your stats, right?
Yeah, let's hope this shit is right and nice, because you know, I want to play a good video game, you know, and plus instead of coming out in October, it's gonna come out around WrestleMania time, because they don't want to, because 2K.
I thought it's coming out in October.
Well, I'm not sure, but I know I heard that they want to move it to like WrestleMania time because of NBA 2K15.
Okay. You mean after this year's game comes out, they want to move it to WrestleMania time?
Yeah, because they know NBA.
Oh, okay.
NBA is gonna take all the sales. Like, NBA is like a fucking.
Yeah. I get you, because in October, that's when you can say the preseason of the NBA starts. But if they move it to, like, say March, that's right before WrestleMania, and you can say after WrestleMania, the new season for the WWE. You can say, so I could say that's a perfect spot to move WWE to the 2K franchise, whatever.
Yeah. On a whole other note, guys, I don't know if you guys read this today, but there's a lot of speculations Daniel Bryan might be making a return at Money in the Bank.
You know what? I read that, and you know what? This is WWE's desperate. This is showing they're desperate, because you don't want Daniel Bryan to get injured, you know, while he's coming back, because, you know, I know they want him at SummerSlam. They do want him at the second biggest pay-per-view for the company, and you don't want to risk him getting injured. They should take his time. It's not like they lose Daniel Bryan for 1 month. It's not going to hurt him. I don't think he's gonna. I think that's a rumor. I don't think he's going to be back. I think that's just kind of a rumor going around, because if you read the spoilers for SmackDown, which I did because usually I can't catch SmackDown, so I just kind of skim through the spoilers and see if there's anything worth catching up on, you would know who qualifies for Money in the Bank. And I think it's going to be up to 6, and I think there's going to be one more person after that. And they're talking, WWE is really considering doing a second Money in the Bank match for the actual briefcase now.
They need to do that ASAP because they got a lot of time.
They should. And imagine that show with two. Usually they've been having 2 Money in the Bank matches, one for the World Championship briefcase and one for the WWE title briefcase. So it would be cool to have it this way, where 1 Money in the Bank match is for the title, the one title, and then one's for the briefcase to cash it in.
Yeah, and going back to Daniel Bryan, I mean, why the fuck do you want to bring him back in a ladder match, which is a dangerous match? He just came back from a neck injury. What the fuck do you want to put him in that kind of match?
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think that's just rumors. I think he wouldn't be. If he was okay to wrestle, he'd be wrestling, and he wouldn't be in the Money in the Bank match. There's no way they wouldn't have him wrestle and then put him in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, so I'll just keep it.
I think they're going to save up for his return. I think something's going to happen, and then maybe after Battleground, or maybe at Battleground, he comes back.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully at SummerSlam he wins the title back, because I'll be at SummerSlam. Yippity do. And you know what's funny about SummerSlam skits? We found out about something. It's going to take place the night before SummerSlam. Remember what we were talking about earlier, Skits?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Skits were talking about, I just read this earlier, that the WrestleMania 31 pre-sale tickets for online only will be going out August 16th. So if you're planning to go to WrestleMania, then you can get the pre-sale August 16th, but only online only. So don't make any trips to the Bay Area or anything like that to buy tickets. You have to try to get them online. So that's what I'm planning to do. Me and Skits are planning to go to WrestleMania next year because it's a freaking 6 hours away. So might as well let's get our asses over there, and hopefully we can also catch some other stuff like Evolve.
Yeah. I mean,
Ring of Honor
compared to what other people travel to get to WrestleMania, people fly over from Europe just to go see WrestleMania and the Raw after. And you guys know what you guys should do. If you're really thinking about that, you should save up money, get a hotel,
That's what I'm doing.
Go to WrestleMania, go to the Raw after.
Yep, I'm done. This is me and Skits are planning to do. We're planning to go to so far for the independent scene. So far, Evolve and Dragon Gate, they announced they're going to be there. Ring of Honor have not announced anything yet. Well, hopefully they do something. So if Ring of Honor does something, we plan in one of their shows as well. So I'm pretty sure me and Skits will probably check out a Dragon Gate or Evolve show out there. Hall of Fame, we're planning to do that. WrestleMania.
I'm wearing a fucking suit, by the way. Got to look fresh to death,
Yeah, I guess I got to get a suit too. And fucking Raw after. So me and Skits are going to be having a crazy ass time out there wrestling. And we should do a wrestling head out there in the Bay Area.
I will bring my MacBook.
Yeah, bring it, and then me and you will do a show in the Bay Area while Tom's in New York.
And hey, I'm pretty sure Chris will be back from his vacation. Get him on the show and get fucking Bruce. And but I have something interesting. There's a lot of rumors also talking about Bray Wyatt turning face. Good idea or bad idea?
This is a tough one. Okay, to me, I want to do it not right now because I feel like they want to see him like another. I'm not comparing him to The Undertaker, but another guy that can go against big dudes, like what The Undertaker used to do against Great Khali, Giant Gonzalez, Yokozuna. Well, if they can use Bray Wyatt turn face against other big dudes like Rusev and all that, I kind of see them. They want to do that with another guy that likes to freak out people. Bray Wyatt could do that. But to me, as a fan of Bray Wyatt, But to me, as a fan of Bray Wyatt, I like his work and everything. But seeing him doing it as a baby face, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I want Bray Wyatt to succeed in the WWE, but I don't know. This thing could be just stupid and it can ruin him. So I don't know. I wouldn't do it right now.
Tom.
I don't know. With Bray Wyatt, I think they should have learned with guys like, maybe not Sheamus, because they put the title on him, how early into his career? Pretty freaking early. And, he's still a top guy. But then you look at guys like Jack Swagger, Del Rio, and, they put the titles on them way too quick, and they kind of just faded out. So I don't want that to happen to Bray Wyatt because, Bray Wyatt's is a talent that doesn't come along very often.
Yeah. Is this something I want for Bray Wyatt? Like what you said, Tom, I don't want him to win the WWE title right now. But what if you give him the Intercontinental title right now? And how Bray Wyatt is
the U.S. title first before anything, because you got Sheamus holding the U.S. title and he's a face. Wouldn't make sense for him to take it from Barrett. But I'm saying though, just imagine he has the Intercontinental title right now. How red hot is he right now? Imagine how that Intercontinental title will be, feel more prestigious. Will he feel like the Intercon title has finally resurrected if Bray Wyatt is the Intercon champion right now? Let's just say Bray Barrett never won. I think Barrett is doing a bad job. I think Barrett is doing a good job as a IC champ. I've seen him on
Barrett's doing. What I like is Barrett's doing a good job, and they're giving him time. They're making him look like a credible champion. They're giving him some funny promos to do.
A lot of mic time too.
Yeah. So
I agree with you guys, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, they're doing this stuff for Wade Barrett, and so far all he's done is since he's been Intercon champion, he had a feud with RVD. But will that continue on? That's my question right there. And how the WWE sometimes disappoint me with the whole Intercon title thing.
I think after Money in the Bank, some new rivalry is going to happen because Money in the Bank, building up to it there's no really big feuds. It's kind of after Money in the Bank the feuds start happening again.
Well, hopefully, because
right now Barrett's not in a match, so he still has a chance unless they make another Money in the Bank match. But I just want to let you guys know Bruce is now on air with us.
Oh shit, Bruce, what's going on, man?
Yo, nothing much, just listening.
Yeah. Angelo says hi, by the way.
I missed it. I wanted to talk to him too. I've been meaning on interviewing him for a while, and I always wanted to ask him, since everyone knows that he works as a ring announcer and he works behind the scenes, what is the biggest backstage shock he's ever gotten by having a personality, whether it be a movie star, TV star, or another wrestling personality show up, and be totally unannounced and even catch him off guard. I would have loved to have asked him that. But as for what you were saying on the triple threat, it's something that I'd like to see happen that I've never seen happen before. You guys remember back in the day when Booker T and Chris Benoit went at it for the best of 5 or the best of 7 series for the U.S. title back in WCW? Yeah. Okay, I want to see something like that, but in the form of a triple threat. And what I mean by that is I'd love to see a best of 3 in triple threat form between Cesaro and continue to get his push, RVD and Barrett, and say, okay, the first one that basically wins 2 pinfalls between the 3 guys, have every single time not be an elimination match, but actually be a triple threat, and whoever wins, that person ends up being the winner of the IC title. For me, I'd be cool with that because it promotes all 3. We already saw 1 triple threat match. I'd be down to see it a few more times. I love the dynamic and the chemistry between the 3. Everyone knows that Vince has a hard-on for Barrett as of late. Cesaro's supposed to get a push. And, obviously RVD is going to put the other guys over since he's on part-time as a veteran. So I think that would be perfect. I'd love to see something like that happen about. It's not something that you see happen. Something like that I'd love to see, or even a pure type match. Basically, like imagine adopting the old Ring of Honor pure rules where you can only have a certain amount of ring rope breaks during the submission. Something like that to excite this feud, because whoever comes out on top is going to establish the IC title even more. And I mean, at the end, isn't that what you want to do? You want to promote talent and also put over the title and the importance of the title to begin with. So I'd love to see them do a little something beyond than just the norm of like, okay, this is who we're going to push because this is who we're behind. I'd like to actually, you have them use 1 or 2 more % of their brain and come up with something creative and put the title over at the same time.
Yeah, you know what, Bruce? That sounds like something what WCW probably would have done if WCW was still around today. They could have probably done like a 7 series of a triple threat feud. I could see that happening if WCW was around. The problem is in the WWE today, they're more in entertainment than wrestling. So I don't think they have, they don't have it to make a pure wrestling type of match in their product today. I don't see it happening, but if WCW, which they did focus more on wrestling in the late 90s, they probably would have done it. Like say example, if we were like at a backstage at a WCW show, we're talking to one of the agents, and you came up with that idea match, somebody probably would just listen to you right now, Bruce. So I'd be like, holy shit, hey, I just met this guy, he's named Bruce, he came up with this crazy ass idea, maybe we should do this, and you probably won't get no credit for it, but this is part of the jackass that works at WCW, but today I got the idea for it. But he stole it from you.
Okay, so Oscar, let me run with that. So basically to all promoters out there, yes, I am available to accept any positions that you may be offering for writer or assistant booker. Please feel free to email me at brucecraft@crafttyenterprise.com or craftbruced@gmail.com. There you go.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, hire him. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, hire him.
There you go, Bruce. I'll get you a call into CZW and tell them you'll be willing to go through some light tubes and some thumbtacks. All right.
For sure. Hold on, no. If I were to get a job as a promoter, and this would be a nice topic of what would you do to get a job with any type of indie company or mainstream company, what would you do? I would gladly take a bump into some thumbtacks. Probably not face first, but I would definitely.
Listen, if I was not even a wrestler, say I was just like a manager type, and I got a call from CZW, and they're like, we're going to pay you a little extra to get thrown into some, light tubes or thumbtacks, I would say, yeah, maybe. I mean, I have a bleeding disorder, so I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, you know what? I would have done the same thing if I was in DJ Hyde's shoes in CCW. Fuck yeah. I'll get my ass kicked. Or say if I was the owner of CCW, like DJ Hyde is. If it makes my audience happy, and I get more audience for me getting my ass kicked, fine. Fuck it. I'll get my ass kicked. I'll go through a flaming table. Whatever.
All right, here's one.
I wouldn't go to CZW of like 2000, like old school CZW. That was crazy. Too crazy.
Yeah.
They brought out like weed whackers and shit.
Yeah. I remember. Didn't Dean Ambrose? Oh, back then he was John Moxley. Got cut by a fucking weed whacker.
No, he got cut by a saw.
Oh,
and
saw.
In one of the interviews that he did, I don't think maybe it was a shoe promo or whatever it was. He was talking about that, and he's like, yeah, these people came up to me and they're like, you're a fucking idiot for taking a saw to your head. And he goes, well, you're a fucking idiot to think that I would take a skilled saw to my head. He said, I forget who was in the match with him. He said he came up to him and he's like, listen, I want to cut you with this saw. And Dean Ambrose is like, whoa, I don't know what you're thinking. And he's like, no, put your finger on it. And he would press the saw, and he said it would be like soft as butter. So But if you like look it up, like if you look up like John Moxley and Saw on YouTube, you could look at it, and it looks legit, but it's only because it's like pushing the blood over.
Yeah.
But so, like CZW was a lot crazier.
I want to see Skip.
Isn't there a Tournament of Death coming up soon?
Yeah.
But there's one.
For some reason, I want to see Skip's face watching some old school CCW. I want to see his face reaction when he watches that. I think it'd be hilarious. Old school shit, like the Weed Whacker era and all that shit.
I would definitely be willing to watch. I'll tell you that. Deathmatch is not my number one thing. It's not my thing, but
deathmatch is not my thing, and I'm not a big fan of deathmatches. But some of that old school CZW, you just watch it, and your eyes just stay glued on it because you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, that's how it was back in those days, man.
And you know what? Another thing is, I would not want to get into the ring with, like, old school Super Dragon. Like, when Super Dragon was early PWG days, he was crazy, out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like, he talked about, it was either him or it was the Necro Butcher talking about it, but the Necro Butcher and Super Dragon had a match at PWG. I forget what event it was. This was from, I think, 2005 or 6. And they said they were legit just beating the shit out of each other. They said they were legit. They were like, here, really hit me as hard as you can in the face. And then they would do it, and the other person would hit them back just as hard. And if you just watch that match, like, he would hit, like, Super Dragon would hit Necro Butcher's hand with the chair. He would, like, jump on his, like, ankle with the chair. Oh, my God.
You know what, Tom? I actually saw Necro Butcher just not long ago for this company, not no longer exists, called Mex Pro, their last show, and he wrestled a guy named Homeless Jimmy in a death match, and he fucking broke his fucking foot in that match, and he was barefooted, and I was like, oh shit, you can see the broken foot. I'm like, fuck, dude, he got fucked up. So,
Necro
and not only
Butcher
that,
is crazy. He is Necro Butcher.
Hell
is
yeah.
a crazy motherfucker.
He was coming in the ring, smashing his head with a chair, and he was already bleeding, and he hadn't gotten the ring yet, and then when he was in the ring, blood was already pouring in his face. Like, motherfucker is crazy.
Wow, listen to the gangster come out in Oscar. You could tell when he's passionate behind someone. Hell yeah, that motherfucker broke his foot.
Yeah.
I heard that, Oscar. I heard that.
Actually, when we broke his foot, like, God damn, he broke his foot.
Real quick, I know we got Best in the World coming up on June 22nd, but there's another event that I'm pretty sure Tom is going to go over either this week or next week, Chikara.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to talk about
got some shows coming up?
They have a show the same day as Best in the World.
Motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. I think.
But anyway,
that's why I'm not sure. It actually might start earlier than Best in the World because that's what Chikara does. Is usually if they're going to do an pay-per-view, they start a little bit earlier.
Starts at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And usually pay-per-views start at 5 in the West Coast. So.
Well, okay, if it's 3 p.m. East Coast time, then that means it's 12 o'clock our time. So, I mean, it's still plenty of time to watch both events.
I'm pretty sure this won't be in the middle of their event once Best in the World starts. And I know Best in the World will probably get more eyes, probably, but never know.
Yeah.
Peter Avalon is one person. I don't know if you guys just saw his last tweet.
What he tweeted?
Photo of one of the Mario. You put the game Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah, we all play Mario Brothers.
Anyways, this little character from the Mario Brothers, he put right next to Johnny Yuma's face, basically saying that they look alike. Go look at it.
Hold on a second. I'll check right now.
Oh, no, Peter Avalon and Yuma always go at it on Twitter. If you don't follow them, do it. Again,
Johnny Yuma gets into it with everybody on Twitter.
Johnny Yuma's a fucking man, by the way. Fucking love Yuma. Yuma Boom.
Oh, the Goomba. Okay, I see it.
We got 15 minutes here on WrestlingHeads Radio. I think we can take another break. So, let's take another break, and we'll be right back. WrestlingHeads Radio.
This is Kyle O'Reilly, and you are listening to WrestlingHeads Radio.
Since January of 2013, the Indie Power Rankings have been ranking the very best independent wrestlers on a weekly basis with voters all across the U.S. and Canada. They do the part to support indie wrestling. Give them a follow at Indie Ranking as they release the new Indie Power Rankings every Tuesday.
Shout out to Indie Power Rankings. Also, shout out to the Weekly Wrestling Podcast. Give them a follow, too. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to 4CR once again. Shout out to Billy and Ant and Sam and everybody over there.
You know what's funny, Sketch? You know how we get all these sound bites? We should send Tom to, like, one of those CCW events. Hopefully he has an iPhone so he can, like, send it to us. He goes to, like, a CCW to get, like, the juicy product and make them say, hey, we're the juicy product.
I'm pretty sure we can get the juice. We already got the juice to do a soundbite, which I need to put up.
Yeah.
Shout out to the juice, by the way. I'm trying to get the product on here with the juice so we get the juicy product on.
Did you say you got the soundbite from the juice?
I believe we do have one, but we'll look at that later. We'll definitely look into that later.
Yeah.
It's fucking 10:17. I'm fucking hungry. I'm pretty sure you guys are.
You go back to Juicy Pride for a sec. Those guys have gold like the Young Bucks. They're carrying all these titles as well. They're the GCW tag champ. I believe they're also the FIP tag champs and some other. If I'm not mistaken, the Northeast Wrestling tag champ. Or if I'm not mistaken, Northeastern Wrestling
all I know
tag
is
champ.
that them boys have been doing it big.
Yeah. But I still want to see that match against them and PP Ray. That would be freaking awesome.
Like, I like just looking at photos of JT Dunn and David Starr and Shelly Martinez. They've been killing shit.
Yeah.
Around the world. And they're supposed to go to the Bucks soon. And I'm looking forward to that match. So,
man, what pissed me off that one time he was here. I mean, I didn't even know he was going to be here, but I decided to stay home and watch Evolve, one of those pay-per-views. But then out of nowhere, JT Dunn's wrestling on Santino. They're like, son of a bitch.
I mean, don't worry. I'm pretty sure he'll be in PWG soon. So, by the end of the year.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Before we go off air, a lot of shit coming up for Wrestling Heads. Basically, we're in the works of having a live YouTube show. Live YouTube show after a pay-per-view. We're not sure which one. So you're going to basically see me, myself. You can see Oscar, Bruce, Chris. And if Tom is down to show his face, Tom is definitely allowed. Tom is definitely.
I'm gonna have the Bo Dallas smile going.
Because I talked to Chris.
Come on.
Chris said that he's gonna wear a fucking wrestling mask. That's what Chris said he's gonna do. So.
Okay. Yeah.
If I was gonna wear a wrestling mask, I'd have to somehow find a Super Dragon or a El Generico mask.
Hey.
Okay, I'll accept the El Generico if you have facial hair. I'm guessing you don't have facial hair.
I have a little bit. It's just it's not the same color as El Generico's. He's got that, ginger. He has that ginger beard going. I don't have that. Mine's
you could pull a jackass. You could pull a jackass and get some what is it, ginger hair, and just glue it to your chin and shit, just for the video podcast.
Yeah, man, definitely looking forward to that. We got that plan coming soon. Make sure y'all subscribe us on iTunes. Just type in Wrestling Heads. You'll find that beautiful W with the H, with the red H. Subscribe us. Subscribe us on YouTube at youtube.com/WrestlingHeads.
And also give us some reviews. Like, what do you think of the show? Like example, if you're a long-time listener, if you don't like shoot the shit, and you want us to go back to, like, the topics, you want to read that, So, just do it. Review
any
it.
suggestions?
Yeah, any suggestions, too, yeah. We'll read them. We'll read everything.
You can also send your suggestions to our email just by emailing us at wrestlingheads@gmail.com, too. I'm always checking email constantly every day, so I can send what you got. You can check our website out if you haven't. That's WrestlingHeads.com, our Facebook.com/WrestlingHeads. What else am I missing, guys? We got Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Twitter.com/WrestlingHeads. Also, if you are a member on Blog Talk and you have, subscribe us on Blog Talk, follow us on Blog Talk, blogtalkradio.com /WrestlingHeads Radio.
Yeah, don't forget about our T-shirts.
ProWrestlingTees.com /WrestlingHeads. Fucking buy a T-shirt. Probably in the works of getting a new T-shirt. Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Maybe we should have our own solo shirts, like get my own shirt, and then Bruce get his own shirt, and then Tom gets his own shirt, like he has a Tom and then a little mouse, like Tom and Jerry shirt. And
we're just throwing out ideas over here live on WH Radio. Hashtag that.
You know it.
Hashtag
you know it.
Just tweet it. Just tweet hashtag WH Radio. We will look through the hashtags and look through your tweets. We'll give you a shout out too.
Yes. And we'll read comments like we always do. Like if you said Tom has a sexy voice, go ahead and put it. So go for it.
Yeah. I read everything that people say. So I see some smart things and some retarded things. But we read everything.
And we love them all.
Yes, love them all.
Fuck it. Follow me on my Twitter. This is my Wrestling Heads Twitter. That's at WH Skits. And you can find me on Facebook. Just type in WH Skits, and I will add you. I think that's about it that I got. Instagram, WH Skits. Follow us on Instagram too, Wrestling Heads.
Yes, follow us at Instagram, Wrestling Heads. You can find photos that wrestlers we met, like when I met the Big Boss Man when I was 6 years old. You can find that. And yes, I met John Cena before. Tom saw that picture. You can see that. So, yeah. And Tom, you should send me pictures of wrestlers you met. You met Bo Dallas. You could give me that picture.
I wish I met Bo Dallas.
Hey, Skits did.
If I could, I would contact WWE and I would be like, listen, I want to be Bo Dallas' sidekick. Pay me whatever.
Hey, but I think you're going to be jealous of Skits because he has a picture of Bo Dallas. So there you go. As for me, you can follow me at Sinister632. Same name on Instagram. You can follow me on there. You could go to WrestlingHeads.com, look at my blog, check out my classic match of the week, top 10 of the week. I'll take a break from that this week because due to the fact that we're going to be driving around all over California, you could say, Southern California. Hopefully we don't end up in Mexico by accident. And, yeah. And also read everybody else's blogs. And, yeah, there you go. And, oh, yeah, can't wait for House of Hardcore this weekend on Saturday. Then the next day, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And I just read that the shuttle bus leaves at 12:30. So, yes, we got to be there by 12:30.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bruce.
All right, so feel free to follow me on everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google+, Tumblr. Bruce Kraft Jr., Kraft spelled with a K. There you go.
And Tom, my man Tom.
Follow me on Twitter at Tommy Not Dreamer. No, I'm not Tommy Dreamer. I wish I was. I'd be hitting motherfuckers with kendo sticks all day long.
Tommy Not Dreamer with the Mark Merrill photo.
Yeah,
I gotta go with that Mark Merrill photo.
Hey, you know what? We will see Tommy Dreamer, the real Tommy Dreamer, this Saturday at House of Hardcore. So,
Real quick,
I wanted. Do you guys hear what happened at the House of Hardcore shows last
I heard
weekend?
Bully Ray.
Yeah, the Bully Ray was apparently pulled off the shows by Dixie Carter.
Because of Dixie Carter.
Do you think that's legit, or do you think that that's a storyline?
I don't know because Tommy does have association with TNA too, so I don't know if she really took him off. Fuck Dixie. That's all I have to say. I want to also say before we go off air, shout out to Ryan, shout out to Dime. These guys might be coming back. In case you guys have listened to the show since 2011, Ryan and Dime might come back for one episode to call in for a sec for WH200. So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we got to look up the WH200, and we got to bring in some past guests back for once, so we should do that.
Or get some sound bites or something. But, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And
Let's back Candice LeRae back. Fuck it.
Candice, marry me.
For some reason, I got a feeling if Candice does come back, I will not be on the show because he'll be so nervous, so shy.
Candice comes on the show, I'll confess my love.
Go back to
like,
the show when Candice came on. Yeah. I was nervous as fuck, bro.
I wanted to see her and Joey when they came over to the East Coast for WSU and CZW, but I didn't get the chance to because I was injured at that time. So next time they're over at the East Coast, I'm going to see Joey and Candice. Gonna sleaze it up.
Funny.
Yeah, you're gonna sleaze it up and jizz it up. That's what you're gonna do.
Jizz it up.
I'll sure jizz it up if I see Candice anywhere. I don't care if Candice is listening.
Candice does love her, some cupcakes. So if you want to get into it with her, Tom, make her some cupcakes.
Yeah, she actually made us some cupcakes.
For Wrestling Heads. That was freaking
Candice
sweet.
LeRae, if you're listening, I promise you I will buy your T-shirt, the one where you're giving Young Bucks the Ballsplex. I will definitely buy that T-shirt next show.
Actually, I'm thinking I'd rather get better than a Young Buck taking a Ballplex.
Huh?
I said nothing says a T-shirt better than a Young Buck taking a Ballsplex.
Well, we got 49 seconds left here on the show. Definitely good show. Shout out to Chris. I hope he's having a good time at the strip club.
He's getting someone's shooting a load on his face. That's what he's doing right now.
And I hope it's over.
Is he going to be back? Is he going to be back sometime soon?
Yeah, he'll be back soon. He is in Florida right now with his family, so hopefully he comes back.
He doesn't fall in love. Hopefully he doesn't fall in love with a stripper.
Me and Oscar were talking earlier about the Kings game and talking about
granny from Florida.
10 seconds, guys, and it looks like we're outro into next week. Peace.
Hey.
Fuck you, suck a dick, Oscar.